The information provided on this show does not, and is not intended to, constitute legal advice. Instead, all information on this show is for general informational purposes only. The information provided is not a substitute for legal advice, and we recommend viewers consult an attorney for specific legal matters.
Good morning. Welcome to Condo Craze and HOAs. I'm Karen Curtis, and of course, I'm joined by attorney Eric Glazer, board-certified attorney in Florida in condominium and plan development law, and we're here every Sunday at 11 a.m. to answer all your questions. And anything condo and HOA, whatever you need to get off your chest, call, and you can also comment in the chat. The number call 717-452-9378. Eric, what's up?
So, Karen, you know, there's hundreds, if not thousands, of condominiums right now in Florida that are undergoing major construction projects, right? It's all over the state because of a lot of the brand new laws. And every board wants the same outcome, right? What do they want? A project that doesn't blow up their budget, their finances, their schedule. They want it done on time, and they want to maintain their sanity, right? Most of all.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no surprises, no disasters. But the reality is, you know, how realistic is that? Can it be done? A lot of people out there think it might not able to be done, right? After what some of the mess they've gone through. And the question is, who do associations really need to hire to make sure that their interests are protected? Well, today, we'll be chatting with an owner's rep, Sam Hodge, who's a sponsor of our show. Thank you so much, Sam, from HCMC. And Sam, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us and for being a sponsor of the show.
And HCMC is Hodge Construction Management and Consulting.
Yes.
It's really great to be here. I'm looking forward to this for some time.
It's an honor to have you. And I know you've actually met with some of our viewers, some of our condos that are watching the show, and you've already been working with them.
Good.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was quite surprised. The first week, I received 3 calls.
That's great. And glad that things are working out. We're only hearing good things. But, you know, the first question is, you know, what is an owner's rep, right? What do you do?
That's a very fair question. To us, to my company, the owner's rep is really a team. It's a group of individuals that have been hand-selected to perform the exact work that the engineer is requesting. There are certain exterior repair protocols, let's say the exterior remediation, stucco repair, that's window caulking, sealants, paint. So we build a team that's specific to that has the experience and the years of knowledge to be able to then create a pathway. And with that, we put a process in place.
Yes. Is it kind of like a watchdog in some effect?
Very much a watchdog, a little deeper than that, because through our experience, we can recognize potential problems before they occur.
Oh.
Okay. Now, a lot of associations think, well, wait a minute, we have an engineer, we're paying an engineer. So isn't the engineer our watchdog? And let me tell you about a situation that I had several years ago that makes me think that maybe not. Okay, so I represented an association. Remember, it was in Hollandale, tremendously large association, several hundred units. And they needed to do 2 things. They needed to paint the entire building, and they needed to replace every single window in the condominium. So we're talking about hundreds and hundreds of windows. So what did they do first? And they had obviously contractors to do the painting in the windows, and of course they hired an engineer. Well, I don't know if the engineer was sleeping or not, but the first thing they did was they replaced all the windows. So we're talking about hundreds and hundreds of new windows that went in. The next thing they did was the painting. But before doing the painting, they had to sandblast the old paint off the building. Well, I see where your mind is going already. But the engineer didn't make sure that the brand new windows were covered while doing the sandblasting. Well, as you can see where I'm going, hundreds and hundreds of windows that just went in last week were destroyed the following week. And you're like, I remember thinking, was the engineer sleeping? You know, what in the world happened here? So I guess what I'm asking is, just because you have an engineer doesn't mean anything. And is that where you would come in?
It's a little deeper than that, because the sequencing of events is critical. And in just hearing your story, obviously the sequencing of putting the windows in prior to prepping the stucco,
right?
It just kind of lost connection there.
Right.
And yes, these are the types of scenarios that we get the engineer and the contractor on the same page.
Right.
We're able to project down the road what are the steps that are going to be necessary to perform this work.
Right.
And in what order?
And obviously protecting the windows should have been part of it.
Of course.
In what you're presenting, it's a little late. I'd have done it a little sequencing a little differently.
Right. So is that something you might have recommended?
Absolutely.
Right. Originally,
Yeah.
before the disaster
We would have
struck.
recognized it and said, hey, please, let's step back.
So my firm represents, so many condominium associations throughout the state, many of whom are going through massive repairs right now. And it just seems, quite frankly, that, no, it's hard to make anybody happy, whether it's the contractor who's not doing their job, whether they spread themselves out too thin right now because there's jobs that need to be done all over the place, whether or not the engineer is also spread out too thin. There's just seems like nobody can be made to be happy, whether or not there's change orders that came out of freaking nowhere and they just don't seem to stop. So the question is it possible to do a job in Florida these days without having an owner's rep and everybody still being happy and on the same page?
I'm not seeing it.
Yeah.
There's just too many opportunities for it to go sideways. And my recommendation would be to bring an owner's rep into the program early, even prior to the contractor being selected.
Right. That's what I wanted to find out about that specifically. Do you get involved from the get-go? Is it, wait a minute, before I start even doing the bidding, before I start even figure out what the hell I need, do I need you first?
I would suggest it. And the reason for this is that you've got maybe 300-400 pages to a report from the engineer.
Right.
Covering all sorts of repairs.
Right.
But in fact, they've only looked at 5 to 10% of the building. And so now they have to project what would the quantities actually be for the rest of the 90-95%.
Sure.
With our experience, we can get in there early. We can start vetting the contractor. We can build a bid package that has a very clear scope of work. So when it does become put out to bid, everyone is bidding on the same package.
Right.
But prior to putting it out, one of our first tasks is to break everything down into tasks. And a stucco repair, a patch, there's maybe the first might be only 3/4 inch deep. There are other patches that's deeper than that.
Right.
So being able to break it out and then look at the building, understand the report, and quantify, project a quantity,
Right.
and then put a unit price per task.
Right.
So that when the bidders are looking at it, everybody's providing pricing based upon a breakdown,
Right.
unit pricing. So if somebody's saying $20 for something and someone else is 12, why?
He avoids chaos.
Exactly. Yeah.
I have one question. Who pays for you, the homeowners or the association?
The association.
So,
But a fee is usually saved.
of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to replace windows. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Karen and I take calls from people who are not engaged in this field in their real life jobs. They're not engineers.
Right.
They're not contractors. They're not accountants. They're not lawyers. And, you mentioned the confusion. Some of this is just absolutely overwhelming for them. I mean, think about it. You're asking people that, have no experience whatsoever. Okay, be in charge of this $20 million reformation now to your building.
They're in over their head.
Restoration to your building. I can tell you a lot of times they often do feel way over their head to no fault of their own. And I guess you should try to clear up some of that confusion for them.
We try to take the burden off their shoulders. This is so unfair that the board members have to become construction professionals overnight.
Yeah.
And you'd be surprised some of the comments. Well, I watched a YouTube program last night.
Right.
So now I have an idea as to what to do.
Well, ChatGPT makes everybody an expert now, no? Everybody knows everything about everything.
So it's there is a lot of confusion, and it should not be that difficult. We have fun with what we do.
Oh, that's
and
great.
we should be able to, board members should be able to walk with their head high,
Sure.
look at membership and saying, we are doing the best that we can and show the successes,
Yes.
not trying to hide in the background, for fear that somebody's going to blame them for
Well,
something.
the onus is on you.
Yes,
Yeah.
where it
Shift the
needs to
blame.
be.
Right. Exactly.
Has your business exploded since the new laws passed?
We created a new division
Oh, boy.
for this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. It's funny what he said, we have fun at what we do,
Yeah.
and typically people who have fun at what they do, they're good at what
Very
they do.
good.
I've always found that to be the case. We have fun here on Sundays, for example.
We enjoy
Right? Exactly. Let's do this. Let's take our first break of the hour. Okay, everybody, let's keep the calls coming in for Sam, 717-29378, here with Sam Hodge from HCMC. And he's an owner's rep. Would love to answer your questions. Be back right after this.
Feeling overwhelmed by repairs, renovations, or big construction projects? You weren't meant to do this alone, and you don't have to. At HCMC, We take the stress off your shoulders and guide your community every step of the way. We bring everyone to the table, owners, contractors, architects, engineers, and make sure every penny spent is done responsibly. Led by Sam Hodge, 40-year expert in construction, we manage everything. From design to closeout, no more guesswork, just expert guidance you can trust. Take control of your project today. Visit HodgeCMC.com or call 9.
And HOAs, and we want to welcome our guest again, Sam Hodge. He is from HCMC. He's an owner's rep, and we're taking your calls and questions in the chat. The number is 717-452-9378. Anything about repairs that are being done or whatever else you have that's weighing on your chest.
Now is the time to ask. A lot of mistakes being made out there, quite frankly. Flip writes, let's call him Flip, no bids in my condo association for the contractor. They attempted to force everybody to use. It was a friend of the board and their friends. Okay, so what do we know about condo law? Condo law says that if the job is going to be at least 5% of the association's budget, we need to engage in competitive bidding. So let's start there. Is that something you can help the association engage in?
Absolutely. The question is, what is going to be presented to the bidders? Because you'll get proposals that's all across the board. If it's an exterior remediation, there might be hundreds of thousands of dollars difference between the proposals.
Because they're doing different things.
They're looking at it differently.
Right.
They're reading the report differently. So the first step should be to organize all of that information, put it in a proper RFP, request for proposal, with bid documents that clearly outlines the scope of work. The scope of work is what they're bidding on, what the association is buying, and what the expected outcome is going to be based upon.
Okay, what about, I guess the real important issue is analyzing the bid that comes in. For example, hey, this bid is far less, A is far less than B, but is there a reason for it?
Yeah, what?
Wait a minute, but A really isn't giving us what we really need. Is that something you analyze?
Yes, that's part of the bid process. When you have a scope of work, what you're doing is asking everyone to look at the project the same way. Sometimes you still get proposals that are all across the board. Prior to even it going out, we vet the contractors to ensure that the contractors that they have experience in similar projects, not around the peripheral, but actual
what you're doing.
So we've already taken that step to narrow the field down to those that we know will be successful.
Right.
Now, when we take their proposals, we step away, we do what's called a leveling sheet, and we put everyone in this leveling sheet. And again, if you're breaking the scope of work down itemized items, then you're looking at how much quantity are you bidding this on?
Right.
Are you following our program? What's the unit price for that? So now the variances start popping out. And then we have to fill the holes, and the holes are worked by others.
So you can kind of tell who's BSing or not, who's really giving you a quote that's absolutely fake.
Unfortunately, there are contractors out there that love change orders, and that's the
chaos.
That's part of the chaos, but that's also what blows up the budget.
Right, of course. And I guess that's so
they deliberately plan for change orders?
They know that there are holes.
God forbid. How can you say that? What are you talking about? Who would do that?
Do you put the bids into this chat GPT, or you're doing this on your own spreadsheet?
We have our own SOP that we've been using for years.
Yeah.
So when you prepare a bid, I mean, do you anticipate, though, that there's going to be some hidden surprises?
Absolutely.
Right. I mean, you have to.
Yeah. Work by others is a major one, such as the electricians have to provide a certain amount of power if there's going to be swing stages hanging off a building.
Right.
Right. So we know that. The board's not going to know that.
Right.
And the bidders, they're not going to include something that's going to make their price higher than others.
Right. Of course.
So they leave that electric out.
So they leave that out.
Got it. Let's talk about what typically happens. Okay. What typically happens is the board gets a request for a change order. And I can tell you oftentimes the engineer just signs off on the change order, right? And the board is left paying this huge, big bill.
You don't have to get permission from the board?
Well, the board just has to pay it because the engineer said pay it.
You have to do it.
Right. So I guess what I'm asking you, Sam, is does your company come in and say, wait, hold on, slow it down? That's not a change order that should be approved. It's not a change order that the board or the association should be paying for.
I like to think that we take it even deeper than that. The only reason for a change order is an unexpected discovery.
You avoid the change order.
And if you've been doing these buildings then you're already anticipating that there's going to be some of this type of damage, even though it wasn't caught by the engineer.
Right.
We anticipate it. So we'll put it in as a line item. But more importantly, once all the bids start coming together and we're looking at the holes, and we can start analyzing again the process and the steps, and recognize that the engineer may be looking at a repair that is discovered right here. Okay, that's fine. So they put a repair protocol together. Contractor looks at it. All right, that's going to be $3,000. Not a big deal. But what happens if that occurs 10 times,
Right.
100 times?
Right.
And we're looking down the road and recognizing that it does occur. So maybe the answer is, let's do a little more exploratory
Sure.
before we get deeper into this.
Well, as a matter of fact, while we were off the air, we were talking about the fact I specifically asked you, are you a guy that's into technology? Are you a guy that's into the latest AI programs that actually helps buildings accomplish these goals that you're talking about? And you said yes. Tell us a little about that, how that works now. What kind of software programs are out there that can help you?
From a document control side and construction project management, we use basically two different programs, but there are dozens. And I'm probably an admin in at least 1.5 dozen different programs. We find Procore and Job Planner as being more correct for this type of dealing with associations and owners.
You wouldn't say the association should try to use that themselves and cut you out. That would be a bad idea.
Who knows how to use these programs?
I know.
mean,
more importantly, who knows the information to
right.
put
They
put
wouldn't
in.
write it.
Yeah.
They don't know what to put in. Exactly.
But the advantage of this is that at any time, a board member can go online in real time and look at photographs of work that took place that morning.
Really?
Wow.
That's incredible.
Can track the change orders. But back to the change order, just because an engineer creates that repair protocol, we look at it, and if this repair protocol is going to occur 100 times, from an owner's side, they'd have been blindsided.
Yeah.
We say, wait a minute, let's take a look. Is there another way that we can make this repair? We can't dictate means and methods because then we assume all the liability. It has to stay on the contractor and with the engineer.
Gotcha.
So they take another look at, well, instead of removing something that needs to be replaced because it's causing more trouble removing, let's go over it, get the same waterproofing effect that's necessary.
Right.
And it costs, instead of $100 a foot, $8 a foot.
Could be that
Big
drastic.
difference.
So
Yeah.
we can present and we can get their thinking together on this.
Gotcha. You know, from a legal perspective, what do I hear the most? The type of complaints. Deadlines were blown. Not only were they blown, Eric, they were blown months ago, right? Or even more sometimes, right? How can you help the contractors and our engineers comply with deadlines? Because that's what freaks the board out. I mean, they're dealing with mess. They're dealing with people who are yelling and screaming at them. When is this freaking job going to be over with already? What are you guys doing wrong? You're not monitoring enough. You're not putting enough pressure on the contractor. How do you help the deadline situation? And you're dealing with, of course, deadlines from the city, from the building official.
He's so organized that probably speeds things up.
Yeah, of course, you would think.
The contractor, prior to any work beginning, should have a very thorough schedule. They should be telling us their plan. What are the steps that they would typically be doing to get through this project? What kind of time frame? If it's a exterior remediation, I speak to that a lot. How long will it take for that swing stage to complete the drop?
Right.
And what's involved in that? So we analyze the schedule, we look at the workflow, and we sometimes can recognize additional steps that might be necessary. But going back to that example of an occurrence that in their mind might happen 10 times, but it actually is probably 100, that extends the schedule by 6 months.
Okay.
Right.
So for us looking at that, we're also looking at the schedule. We're looking at the cost from the owner's viewpoint, saying this is just unacceptable.
Yeah.
And there are some change orders that turns out the scope of work is already buried in their contract or a portion of it.
Right.
So they charge a full amount, but they don't credit back some of the work that would have been in their first repair.
And on a big job, I mean, it could be tens of thousands, if not maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars that we're talking about. I thought it was amazing a few minutes ago when you said that because of the software you had, people can actually go online, and see the work that was done this morning. I thought that was amazing. What about showing up to board meetings and meeting with the community and you being able to tell the community, guys, this is where we're at. This is what we did. This is what we saved. Do you sometimes meet with the community? Because people want to see your face, quite frankly.
Yes, I try not to very often,
So
but
do
at
I,
least
but no. I'm kidding.
maybe quarterly, monthly, if it's built into the
Yeah.
into the proposal. What I do not want is homeowners calling.
Of course
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
Of course not. Nor am I suggesting that.
Right.
But at least quarterly, they would like to just see somebody that they can ask some questions to.
Well, part of the software, they can actually build a presentation. And in today's world, you're seeing a lot of large monitors being installed within a condo,
Nice. Yeah.
you know,
you talk-
within the common areas.
Yes. Yes.
And so they can look and they can see a schedule.
Ah,
And every month, the schedule changes.
nice.
Okay.
It may change week to week, but it's our job to be tracking it and recognizing some of the issues that might be popping up. So when the changes come in, first we look at what was it? What is it now?
I think that's amazing. So you're telling me that the people who live in the condo can see a schedule of things that are supposed to happen that month?
Yes. And equally important is that the property manager has to have a sense as to notifying the residents.
Right.
And there's nothing worse than waiting until the last minute.
Right.
So in our protocols, we actually have time periods built in that we say, hey, property manager, 6 weeks from now, this work is going to begin. 2 weeks from beginning. Hey, property manager, it's starting in 2 weeks. These are the steps you need to do to make sure that the work can proceed. If it's balcony work, get all the furniture off.
I take it that you've been asked to join jobs kind of after the fact,
Yeah.
before you should have been hired. And what kind of attitude do you see? What kind of pressure or what kind of freakouts are you seeing from the board when it's too late?
I hate to say this, but some projects are just too far
Yeah.
gone.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Too
And
doomed.
it's a tough call to have to turn someone down because they're in it so deep that all that we see is litigation, and nobody likes being pulled
No,
into that.
of course. So you're seeing people, who meant well, people who volunteered for this position.
Oh, that's
Right?
the sad part.
And had-
Yeah. Looking, they had no idea really maybe what they were getting into.
But by taking all these bids, you must know which companies have their poop in a group and are better than others, right? Who are not,
We would not include their name if they weren't an A or B player.
there you go.
Yeah,
And you
yeah.
know who they are.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is it all about preparation? Is it really from the get-go?
Well, it's also about when is it anticipating to begin? Part of our questions to the bidders during what we call descope. This is where we get an understanding as to the depth of their knowledge of the project. What other projects do you have scheduled to start at the same time
Okay.
as this project? So if they hop off of 2 or 3,
You're not number one.
who's getting the A team?
That's
Who's
right.
getting the B team?
Right.
Who are the players left on the bench?
Good question.
All right. I'm on the board. I know that I just got the demand to do my 40, 50, 60-year recertification, whatever it is. There's a lot of pressure on me right now. I want to make sure it gets done right, but I also don't want to spend my entire life supervising it. What should I do next?
Call the experts.
Right.
We spend our life doing this. You're a perfect example. The extra effort that you're putting out, having this program and keeping up to date. You've got a finger on the pulse of all the litigation that's going on. We do too.
Mm-hmm.
And why not reach out and take advantage of that? Yes, they have to pay us, but we find so many ways to save that.
Do you have any idea the difference between what they actually have to pay you and what you've saved them is?
Well, on
what
one
percentage?
project, it was recent project was about 15 million, and we saved close to $2 million.
Nice.
Really. That's
And
fantastic.
this is savings, not money not spent.
Right.
We have a
Right,
budget.
Right.
We work hard to help develop a budget and build a contingency
money.
line item so that it's realistic. We fill all the holes.
Yeah.
But then you have to have that contingency.
Yeah.
You started, you said 40 years ago, helping to build, and now you switched it around. And now that you know how to build it, you know how to fix it.
I've
Yeah.
been
Tell
in-
us some of your credentials.
I've been in the industry for 40 years. Some might say 1 or 2 plus. I've had Hodge Construction Management up and running going into my 17th year, and it began when I had been working with Turnberry, a Florida developer.
Sure.
And when I joined them in Las Vegas, at the time, there were 13 condos under construction. 9 of them were Turnberry.
Really?
And so spending that time building them, of course, now I know what goes into them, and it makes understanding the repairs much easier because I know what to look for.
And you
I know
saw a need.
where it
You
was
saw
put.
a need.
It was
Well, it's also one of the most successful projects ever built anywhere. The Turnberry name carries an
Yes.
incredible amount of weight.
yes. And I've been fortunate to be able to be involved in 2 mega projects, gaming casinos and
Casino-
hotels.
Really?
One in Atlantic City that was $1.3 billion,
Mhm.
and another one in Vegas,
Nice.
$0.6 million.
They have to go in there 27 years in a row for the Super Bowl. I can tell you they built some of that with my money, quite frankly.
You ever work with
And,
Trump?
No, I was in Atlantic City when Trump was there.
Yeah.
We had to deal with a number of issues. Nothing had been built for like 13 years, a new
Okay.
casino.
Right.
And so we were having to bring contractors, merge them together because the project was so large.
Right.
So we get competitive electrical companies, bring them together to form a new group.
Absolutely.
And
Gotcha.
mechanical. Yeah, it's all about working relationships,
Of course.
those that you know, and
Yes, sure.
staying true.
Of course, well, on a
To
personal
yourself.
level, during the break, you were telling us that you are a grandfather of how many grandkids?
Too many.
Well,
11.
you have 5 sons.
Yes.
Right.
Between,
So you do
between
the
my wife
math.
and I, we have 5 sons.
And a whole bunch of grandkids.
Last count, I count 11. My wife counts 10.
It's hysterical. Sam, I really appreciate it. So not only as a smart guy, he's a pleasant guy.
Very
How can you
much
not
so.
trust that
Yeah.
face?
Oh,
that
my-
grandpa
Yeah.
face? Right.
I just
Let's
am
have fun
intrigued.
doing this thing.
Exactly. But you know what? It's a great statement. Let's have fun. But there's a lot of people not having fun out
Yeah.
there. There's a lot of people that call this show miserable, that they meant well, they got involved in a project, they wanted to do the right thing. Do you know, oftentimes, not more than often, they're forced out of the building. A project they meant well, but it gets to a point where everybody just blames them for everything that went wrong. And despite their best intentions, they have to move. And believe me, it happens more times than
Really?
it happens more
'cause then
times
people
than you
blame
think,
them.
because people blame them. What did you do? Why'd you sign with this one? Why did you let them use these type of materials? What do you mean, why did I let them use these type of materials? I relied
No
on our
idea.
expert. Right? Exactly. You know, and I'm telling you, this happens a lot.
There's also another sad part of that. There are a lot of qualified people that should be stepping up and participating with the board, either as a board member,
Sure.
but they see the animosity.
So
People
they
are scared. People,
don't.
I don't
Yeah.
want to. I'd rather pay someone to do it.
So if you
know?
could take that problem off the table
Sure.
to where now they're walking into something and again holding their head high, they've got proper representation, and there's a process in place.
Sure.
All that they can go and they can focus on the art committee and all of the
other
things
other things
that they're
yeah.
supposed to be
Right.
focusing on.
Exactly.
The
Sam,
chaos buster.
The chaos, but I love that. Yeah. Well,
Big
that's
time.
that to me, that's a large part of what you do. Removing the chaos.
Yeah.
Removing the insanity of it all from people who are not trained to do what you do.
Seeing
Yes.
it, you see it ahead of time, which is huge.
That's what experience brings
Right.
you.
Hey, Robert, we put up on the board. How do we get in touch with Sam?
There it is, right there.
What's your telephone number, Sam?
954-805-5235.
And if people want to go to your website,
HodgeCMC.com.
I want to thank you again for joining us and being a sponsor. We're going to take a break, and when we get back, we'll start taking some phone calls.
Excellent.
Okay? Thanks,
Looking
Sam.
forward to some.
Okay. Keep the calls coming in. 917-452-9378. We'll be back right after this.
717.
917-452-9378.
I almost
right after
had that
this.
problem.
All right, so we're halfway through the show, and we have, of course, our guest, Sam Hodge, and he does deal with construction management and consulting. If you have a question for him, 717-452-9378. We have other people on the line as well with questions about a budget issue for the HOA and also about records requests.
Before we get there, the dentist writes in and says, can you give us an idea of lead time needed to hire CMC? I realize the project would be a determining factor, but sometimes the job is needed less than a couple of months. You know, lead time. How much time do you need before somebody starts
That's
the
a good
job?
question.
Hey, you may be busy. Hey, we're not going to be ready to deal with you for the next couple of months. Generally, what kind of lead time do you need?
The first step is to first just have a general discussion. There's no cost to it. It gives us an idea as to what their expectations are. type of project, when they're looking to start it, and the depth of it.
So you'll talk to them in the beginning, just get your feel for what they need.
Yeah, and generally we can put a team together within 2-3 weeks.
Gotcha. Okay.
That quickly, if necessary. I prefer to understand the project a little more.
Sure. You want to learn about it first. Absolutely. All right. How about we go to the first call of the day, Ron?
Let's go to Mr. Murray in Hollywood.
Mr.
Oh,
Murray.
for Sam.
How are you, Mr. Murray?
Good morning. Happy holidays.
Hey.
Happy holiday. How are you?
I'm calling to close the show. It's got a call for Sam specifically. But before I get to Sam, Eric, I have a question for you.
Yes.
You often say that South Florida is loaded with smaller condo associations.
Yes.
What's the ratio? What's the number?
I don't know exactly, but there are far more smaller, let's say under 25 units than there are large, believe it or not. Okay. When you live in South Florida,
Now, Sam,
you would think that there's only
Yeah,
large
the big
condominiums,
ones,
right? But as you go farther north, especially once you leave Palm Beach County, for example, and you start going north, it's basically all small condos.
So a small condos north of South Florida.
Yeah, and there's still plenty
And
down
down.
here, right? There's still plenty. But once you start leaving Dade, Broward, Palm Beach, the rest of the state has a tremendous amount of small condominiums.
right,
There's
so
more
my
HOAs
question now
than-
goes to
Yeah.
Sam. He touched on the idea that there's no job too small.
Right.
And I really appreciate it because there's a need for what he offers, but there's a cost. And I hate be the guy that's looking for a price conditioning. Sam, every job is unique. Every job is going to
Absolutely.
You handle from beginning to the end, including the payment scheduling
Yes.
and actual accepting of the payments and processing of the payments and reviewing them. Is that also included as your service?
We review the payments. We have a payment process in place. It's all, again, electronic. We utilize technology so that the contractor can actually file percentage of completion online. We review it. We forward it to the board, make a recommendation. But absolutely, that's a must.
Yes. So the monies are set aside and the board is notified, okay, it's good to pay this invoice. You're clear to pay this invoice.
Yes, and sometimes there's a requirement to have the engineer review a pay app as well, depending upon their contract with the association. But I would prefer not to take on a project that we didn't have full control over the project, meaning that if we recognize that someone is billing for something that they shouldn't, we want to be able to express that and not learn about it after the fact.
Yeah, you don't want to be a rubber stamp for the contractor either.
We are not
yeah.
rubber stamp.
Correct.
Yeah,
Guaranteed.
Love it.
right.
Now, as a percentage, Sam, you have to have an idea. A project costs X. Are you 5%, 7%, 10, 20%? Give me a wide range.
A lot of what we do is based upon the allocation of manpower that's required to manage a project, the level of quality of that individual, the extent of that person's knowledge. I will say that to all Condo Craze subscribers, there's an immediate 15% discount that we
Way to
offer.
go. We appreciate it.
Just
So I know that's
just
not.
Come
give
on,
you-
Sam. You're dancing around the question.
Just well, he can't give you an
It's
exact
impossible
number.
to give an exact
Yeah,
price
no,
of a
you
job,
can't
you
pin 'em
know,
down.
without knowing what the job is.
I agree 100%. But he can also price condition the smaller communities out there to say, hey, it's not unusual for us to come in at 20% of your project.
Well, he has no idea what the project is.
I can pretty much tell you that the 20% is a. I haven't had a project at 20%. That's what general contractor would be charging. We may be anywhere from 12%, maybe less, maybe just a tad more. Again, depending upon the project.
Whoop, there
There-
it is, guys. Thank you, Sam.
There is
Now, my
There
last
are-
question,
there are
because I
ways
gotta
of
wrap up the
managing
show.
this.
You guys got to go to Brian.
Hang on, hang
You know,
on.
there are
give-
ways of managing the pricing based upon the extent that the association needs the owner's rep. It might be just in the process of getting them through the bid process, selecting, helping them with awarding to a contractor. And again, it would be a contractor that we would completely have faith in, so that if it's that small of a project, then we could say we have faith that the contractor is going to be able to complete this, and we're not really needed.
But if you
Or-
save them 12% on that contract, the net cost to the association was zero.
Zero.
Right.
Yes,
Plus 15%
there's
off.
not a project that we haven't been able to recover
That's net
our
3,
fees.
Karen.
That answer your question, Bill?
Last one. I'm 4 years out from my 10-year certification.
Okay.
I have some concerns with the concrete railings. How soon or how early or how late is it to contact your guys?
Good question.
In my opinion, there's not a too early
So now,
date.
Yeah.
Reach out to us. Let us come and take a look. We can do a review of the project. What you would really need is it would be best to catch a problem before it becomes much greater. And
Agreed, 100%.
if you're just basing this on a timetable that is set through the legislation, that's wrong. Let us take a look.
In other words, don't wait until you get the letter from your building officials saying it's time to do your 40 or 50 year. If it's obviously crumbling, give us a call now, right?
Yes, there are a lot of fixes that can be done. That and today's cost is going to be a lot less than
Right.
tomorrow's cost.
right. So you don't even have to
And-
wait for
the-
certification, is what
Right.
you're saying.
You do not.
Yeah, as an example of that, not to end the show on a sad note, quite frankly, but
That's loud.
the
No, but
job,
I'm-
but the Champlain Towers,
Oh.
when they were told about it in 2018, it was a $5 million job. By 2021, it went to a $15 million job. It actually tripled in cost in 3 years. So
Plus
you
the
know.
damage to the structure had increased over
Right.
time.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
wasn't just the
it just happens exponentially if you let it
yes,
go.
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
There you go, Bill.
Bill, I hope those
Hey,
next
don't you get a
questions.
15% discount?
That's right.
And so,
Of
Rob,
course.
how about you put that information back up on the screen in order to contact Sam? Sam, fantastic. Great
All right, thank you,
interview.
guys.
Hey,
Have a
Bill,
great
thank you so
weekend,
much.
and I really appreciate all that you guys do.
Thank
you very much, Bill. Appreciate it. And
Bye now.
thanks to everybody else who tuned in today. And of course, you put up Sam's information on the
Yep,
screen.
right
Of
there.
course, if you need to reach our firm off the air, you can reach Glazer and Sachs off the air, 954-983-1112. Again, 954-983-1112. And we'll see you and speak to you again next Sunday at 11 a.m. on Condo Craze and HOAs. And I think in about 2 minutes, we'll know if the Miami Hurricanes made the playoffs.
Oh my God.
Have a great week, everybody.
You,
Sam,
baby.
thank you.